and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with us, as always, a resident spring football expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, it is WILLCOs week, meaning T-minus 1 week to the WILLCOs.
Well, what, 4 days? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Yeah, 5 days.
Less than 1 week.
Less than 1 week. I'm excited.
I'm glad that you're excited. I'm not so sure
I'm
that
most
I'm
excited about your tux. Like, what will Dr. Qualls come out
Just wait until you see it. I got a sneak peek of that this week. Man, it's going to be something special.
Strong?
It's
I can't
strong.
wait. Street
What about
tuxedo.
you? What about you? What are you going to be wearing?
You know me, man. I'm pretty conservative. I'll be in black tie, black.
Boy, that's getting outside the envelope for us.
Still wear khaki
All right, let's
pants
talk about
every
it.
day.
Red carpet first and foremost before we go into the show. My favorite part of the evening, you, Carrie Goodwin, I almost called her Bishop, always do, and DJ himself, Darren Joins, on the call for the red carpet. You three worked great last year. It'll be even better this year. You're more seasoned. I'm glad Coach Goodwin's in there to make you two guys look a whole lot much better.
No question. That's why we put her in the middle.
What's your take on the red carpet?
I thought it was awesome, what a great event. And like I told you, the thing, I guess when you see how excited they take it, I would think in your position that makes it even more rewarding for you. But, man, you could tell those young those athletes loved that. It was neat. They're all dressed up, and they come down, and Sierra and Anna Grove do such a great job interviewing them. And, it's just you see their different personalities, especially like the football guys, man. I don't know, a lot of people have probably never seen T.J. Sheffield without his helmet on. You know what I'm saying? You get to see him and their personalities and the outfits that they choose. So I thought it was a great deal. Was very humbled to be a part of it. Glad to be a part of it again next year. And we had a lot of fun. Coach Goodwin and Coach Joins and I.
I'm glad that y'all are having fun.
Yeah. We'd rather do that than what you're doing.
It's not exactly a fun event at the time for me. I try to remain calm, but you know how that goes. But
and then when Vince Neal comes walking up, the best part about that was we were all excited, DJ and Carrie and me and you, and I don't know that any of the kids had any clue who he was.
It's pretty neat, though.
Especially when, man.
Pretty cool.
Crew?
John
Robinson.
John Robinson of the Titans, GM, obviously will reprise his role again for the third year in a row. He'll be walking the red carpet. Never know who he'll bring along with him. Could be special guest. You never know. You have to wait and see. But we've had some star power. I don't know that we'll have stars equal to Vince Neal. And there's people probably watching this show that could be potentially Googling Vince Neal to even find out who that is. But
Google Vince Neal 80s.
Yes, 80s. Motley Crue. Let me give you a little hint.
He was pretty strong. He didn't get the parachute pants and the members-only jacket reference either. That went over his head.
Well, probably because Motley Crue thought that was ridiculous at that time. Now, leather pants and no shirt would have been more
makeup.
And a little hairspray would have been a whole lot.
Coach Fulmer came through.
He was an awesome guy for you to interview during that process. Of course, he's so good at that anyways, but it was really neat at that red carpet. So, speaking of WILLCOs, the WCTV Play of the Year, we have 3 clips. That is a Viewer Choice Award. We're asking you to go to WCS COJQ Twitter feed. Please watch that. Those clips will be put up this week, running for 7 days all the way up to the event. Make sure you go and vote. You have the return, Jatavion Hayes of Summit with the return against Independence. You have the catch,
Caden
Dreyer of Brentwood, the one-handed catch across the middle for Brentwood, and then the wheel route.
I'm changing the wheel to the call.
No, you're making fun now. The wheel
Mr.
route.
Producer, can we change the name of the wheel route to the call?
You're just talking about the call. We did make the call, by the way.
That's
Me
my
and
point.
Mr. Producer on call made that prediction that it's any time now the wheel route will come into effect, and what happens. I mean, it's like I had a headset down to Coach Coleman himself. Now, he was reluctantly wanting to call a passing play, but he phoned it in.
It was one of his 4.
He phoned it in, and it was right on the money to
timely.
Gio himself, George Odomegwu.
Very timely.
All those guys, matter of fact, will be at the WILLCOs. So it'll be interesting to see
Yes.
which one of those plays will win. All right, here we go. Baseball district tournament this year for the 11 AAA group. Let's start there. We had a lot of games being played. First round, Page defeats Franklin 3-2 in that play-in game. That's a do-or-die game. Franklin finishes the year 10-20. Page advances. Page, one of those teams we're talking about, very, very dangerous, but they end up, after that, playing against Brentwood and losing 6-0 to drop down into the loser bracket. Summit defeats a very strong, in my opinion, a very dangerous team.
Yep.
Could potentially be the most dangerous team in the tournament. 6-0 in the first round. That drops them down to play Page. And what happens? Page beats Dixon County. We're coming in. Dixon, to me, was one of that.
Yeah.
These two are the, one of those dangerous teams that we talked about. Page defeats Dixon 11-5 to eliminate them, awaiting the Ravenwood Centennial winner.
Yeah, that was awesome. So Dixon's gone, double elimination, and big win for Page. And, they had beat Summit earlier in the year, but obviously didn't the other day. So they're down in the loser's bracket and come back and get a big win against Dixon. Obviously, the Bats were on fire, and, that's where you wanted to be, right? They're still playing. And I think that's a great accomplishment for the Patriots.
The Raptors, Coach Teddy Craig,
Mr. May
defeats Spring Hill 11-1 to advance, and potentially the biggest upset in the opening round. Centennial defeats Independence to advance there 4-1, advance in the winner bracket. Centennial drops down to the loser bracket. They played Spring Hill. They defeated Spring Hill 4-0. So now we're down to Independence is waiting on the Brentwood High, Summit High winner. So let's go back to the top of the winners bracket right now. This is who's left as of today. Brentwood is playing Summit. Okay, this is not a loser go home situation.
Right.
Loser will go down and drop down and play the Independence game. I'm sure they're all saying, let's try to win this game to avoid that. Ravenwood Centennial got rained out this weekend. They're in the top of the fourth. Ravenwood is leading this game 1-0.
Right.
Now, let's talk about that for a moment. You want to talk about a strange scenario. You've got to come back, top of the fourth, play this game out. Who's that really give the advantage to? I have to think that kind of gives the advantage to Centennial.
I don't know. I guess it really depends on who's on the mound, and I don't know. I don't know how you do that. That's tough, man. Obviously, neither one their bats were hot, right? So you don't have to worry about that. We were doing really well from the plate and worry about that cooling off. So I don't know, man. We knew an upset was coming. We just didn't know where it was. Obviously, it was Centennial knocking off Independence, and so I don't know. I think it favors Ravenwood because I think Ravenwood's a little bit deeper on the mound, and it just kind of slid under the radar on us the way the season went. But, Ravenwood ended up number 2. That's why they're playing them. They ended up number 2 in the district, man. What a great accomplishment that was. Independence has been number 1 wire to wire basically in AAA, and then, with especially in the mid-state. And then Brentwood, the defending state champions, and they just you saw that coming. They just keep playing better and better. And for Ravenwood to finish number 2 in this district, and then, so it was really quiet. And you look at their overall record, they won like 24, 25 games. It's a dang good Ravenwood team, man. Really good.
Well, Independence, like you mentioned, came in kind of, limping into the finish line there, lost a few games at the end of the regular season. Then they open up district play with another loss. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. If Independence was eliminated from this tournament, it would be a shocker to all. Then, everybody's playing for one spot. You look at this. Let's look at the matchups. Brentwood Summit. McIlvaine's going to get the call to go on the bump. Has not been on the bump in a while. Pitched a few innings against Siegel. Late, maybe second to last or the last game of the season, just to figure out how that's going to go. Number 1, Johnson sitting in the hole, waiting if need be to get past Brentwood. Of course, Brentwood kid comes out. Caleb Pearson throws his 9th win of the season. Think about that, 9 wins in a District 11 AAA to get to this point to beat Franklin, a shutout, 6-0. So now you got to think that Coach Bill Moore sitting on his number 2 guy, McIlvaine on the bump. Gutsy performance, see what he's got here. If they can win and drop Brentwood down into the loser bracket. Once again, they split in the regular season. Summit has a win, Brentwood has a win, so they're coming in here to see who wins this game. If Summit can win this game, Ravenwood Centennial. Let's just play odds here. The 1-0 holds in this game if Ravenwood advances. So now you've got Brentwood playing Independence for the potential to send Indy home. Brentwood obviously already has that bye to go into the region. So you have to think for Summit's sake, if Summit was to win, Summit is rooting for Brentwood to go on so they can automatically get in that bye. But they still have a game to win. They're going to get the winner of the Ravenwood Centennial game. So let's look at that, potential matchups. If, hypothetical, Summit beats Brentwood, then you've got a Summit-Ravenwood matchup. Winner gets into the championship game. There's so many moving pieces here. Brentwood's got to come out of the loser bracket for that person, whoever it is, Ravenwood or Summit, if they advance, or even Centennial if they advance. Brentwood's got to come out of this loser bracket for them to get that bye.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And, and then you look down there at Indy. If Indy is going to go, if they're going to win this thing, they're going to have to play 6 games. That's tough, man.
You put yourself in there's a lot of strategy involved. Why? When we pitch our one, if the one goes, you've got to make sure they win this thing to get them back. Like you said, Indy's got to have their back against the wall right now. Back is against the wall. Loser of the Brentwood Summit game will play. Look at that border battle. Loser goes home. Or Indy Brentwood battle.
Right.
Loser goes, or Indy goes home. Regardless.
Either way,
Indy's facing elimination.
Yes, that's right.
So
and it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be 2 really good teams.
Ravenwood Centennial. Coach Boffman's group's coming in. Had a really good performance by their pitcher, their number 1 pitcher in that opening game against Centennial. Now, does Boffman and Centennial have enough gas in the tank to get past the Ravenwood Raptors?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they already got past Independence, and like we talked about, he's been saying that all along.
They've got 2 innings to do it.
That's right. Yeah,
down one
they
run.
better get on it. Yeah.
Right.
But they have the ability to do it. His problem all year long is getting them to do it at the same time. And so, yeah, I mean, he's got enough talent to do it. He's got enough, definitely, and the great thing about him for this tournament, he's got a lot of arms. So they're down 1-0. Yeah, they could definitely come back and win that.
So you're looking at this. Like we said, if it holds, Centennial's going to drop down then and have to play Page. It's an interesting matchup. It's one of those games you're like, are they both still alive?
Right.
So you've got Centennial and Page playing right there to advance to get that Independence Brentwood Summit loser winner on that elimination matchup there to continue as well. So this thing is wide open still. Interesting upsets. This Brentwood Summit game to me, man, that is super, super important and interesting there.
Yeah, and I just feel like maybe like last year, I don't know who Summit went through. I know it wasn't Brentwood. Brentwood got picked off before that, didn't they?
Yes.
Anyways, Summit's fighting for their lives. Coach Moore can say everything he wants to, and this is a veteran group, and they've got some great senior leadership, that we talk about all the time. But still, they know they're going through. You know what I'm saying? He can say whatever he wants to. They know they're going through. Summit's literally fighting for their lives. I think they all know they don't want to have to come back through. So I just, you got to think that Summit has a little bit more sense of urgency in this game.
Interesting note, Ravenwood Centennial. Ravenwood won both matchups in the regular season, 8-5 to 8-3. It's not like they've been blowouts by any stretch of the imagination. So this game is holding true just like that one. It's going to be a close one to see how that comes out. Page will face, like we said, Ravenwood Centennial loser. Indy defeated Spring Hill 4-0. They will face Summit Brentwood loser. So we'll report back next week of how the District 11 AAA will pan out. District 11 AA baseball, you're looking at, 12 AA. That is the Nolensville group. I'm just going to have to tell you, you may have to look at this bracket to explain it to me. It is one of the stranger brackets you've ever seen. Now, Nolensville did get the region bye by winning the outright tournament, correct? So, right. Forest, Central Magnet in the 4-5 game played. Central Magnet won that game to drop Forest down into the loser bracket. Central Magnet then turned around and defeated Nolensville 6-4. That drops Nolensville down into the loser bracket. Now, in the 3-6 game, Marshall County defeated Community, and that drops Marshall County down into Marshall County then advanced and played Giles County. Coach Zach Hudson told me Giles County is a really good baseball team. They defeat Marshall County. drops them down. Now you have a battle of Marshall County. You've got Forest, Marshall, loser goes home. Marshall will advance, or Forest will advance to play Nolensville in that game. Look, I'm just going to tell you, it seems like it's set up for everybody to have an opportunity to win. It's a very strange bracket. But regardless of this, Forest Marshall winner will play Nolensville. Okay? Loser of that's out of the tournament. Obviously, if Nolensville lose, they'll move on to the region. Everybody else is playing for that one spot. If Nolensville wins, that will.
Oh, is that how they do it too?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So Nolensville's in.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very strange bracket, though. We'll see how it plays out.
Bracketology.
Yes.
You have to have a degree in
I don't
bracketology.
have Joe Lenardi needs to visit us on this. But let's just put it this way. Nolensville has Nolensville has lost their opening match to Central Magnet, dropped them down. They need to advance. They need to have potentially 3 more wins, 4 more wins, 5 more wins. So it looks like 6 more wins before they even have to come out of this thing to win the district tournament outright. But survive and advance, whether you get beat in this thing.
Bottom line is they're going to play the winner of Marshall and Forest. And then
that's correct.
We'll go from there.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, and I think they swept Marshall County, didn't they? Split with Forest.
They did
in the regular season. So
and split with Central Magnet at last series of the season.
Yeah.
So Central Magnet obviously has some pretty good arms. Coach Hudson said that, and
they did.
Ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw there for those guys, 6-4. So we'll see what happens. Fairview, on the other hand, in 12 AA, lost to Stewart County 16-4, but bounced back, beat East Hickman 5-2. They'll face Waverly, which they lost in the regular season 10-0. Waverly, a very good baseball team. That is an elimination match for them. Must win for the Yellow Jackets. On the softball side, Franklin beat Centennial in the playing game, then lost to Brentwood in the 11 AAA tournament here. Page, in the number 4 seed, defeats Summit, the 5 seed, 9-8 in extra innings. Interesting matchup there. Summit, Lady Spartans, playing a little bit better here towards the regular season. Page, really good softball team. We talked about that. They kind of limped in as well.
Right.
There's only been one really consistent team from start to finish. It's been Brentwood. However, you've got Independence playing really good as well behind Jalen Chesson. You've got Page, up, down, up, down. I think their Jekyll is really strong, much stronger than their Hyde. But when Hyde shows up, man, you can't tell as far as their alter ego and what game they're going to get. So Dixon in the 3 seed, 3-hole defeats the 6-seeded Spring Hill 7-3. Independence, the 2 seed, defeated Ravenwood, the 7th seed, 5-0. So let's look at that bracket for a moment. Once again, these double elimination brackets, you have to have a map to read this. But this is what's fixing to happen.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Is that too much?
We've
had rain.
Nobody else has double elimination, right?
Well, yeah. Oh, you talking about no other sports?
Right.
Yeah, no.
But that's, you get into this argument. This is something they've always had. Baseball,
that's a
softball.
lot of games
That's
to get in.
That's a lot of games, man. You're putting a lot of stress on your arms. I would love to hear Coach Kirby's take on the double elimination. Now, everybody.
I will have a quote for you for next week.
Everybody has benefited off this double elimination at some point in time.
Sure.
Ravenwood being that one when the Goodwill Dalton team of Summit, if you remember, Ravenwood came out of that loser bracket like a buzzsaw, won it, but then lost in the region lost in the district championship to the Summit team, and then they faced off again in the region championship, which they lost again, and Summit moved on. That was the team that lost in the Final Four to eventual winner Siegel. Now, I say all that to say Ravenwood would tell you, I'm sure Coach Craig would tell you, hey, I like double elimination because he came out of that thing, But what's your thoughts?
I think it's too many, man. I mean, I get it, and I understand why you do it, and you want to make sure the best teams win, but it's just, like we saw this weekend, weather played a big part in this. And that's, you got Centennial, and it's a Sunday. We got to get all this stuff in. We've already had to bump the Saturday games to Sunday, and then here comes a hailstorm, and Ravenwood and Centennial are having to start back up at, 4 o'clock on Monday it's tough. I think it's too many, but.
Well, it could be the fact that you got two guys like us.
But then that's less money in the TLA's pocket.
Well, I think you got two guys like us trying to explain it, and everybody at home has already turned this off thinking this is brutal. But
it's too many.
There's a lot going on. So
there's no reason why. Okay, There's no reason, in my opinion, why a district tournament should start really on Friday, and then it's still not over going into Monday.
Well, hats off to Erica Powell because she has done a wonderful job on this bracket. So I think we can explain this bracket, the 11 AAA softball bracket, better than any of them, right? So here it goes. Brentwood High School is going to be playing Page at Summit, right, this week. That will, it's not an elimination game. This is a winner's bracket game, if you will. A winner moves on, loser will drop into a later round loser bracket game. The other part of the winner's bracket game will be Dixon versus Indy at Centennial. Interesting matchup. Why?
Because that's where Coach Buchanan is from.
That's
Dixon.
right. That's right. So, interesting note, Brentwood defeated Page 9.
He coached those girls.
Yes. Brentwood defeated Page 9-0 in that last regular season game, which we thought built up to be a really good game. Apparently, Hannah Koenig and the Brentwood Lady Bruins had something else in mind on that, 9-0. Do you view this game a little bit closer than 9-0?
Yeah, I think it could be. But, first of all, those four, I think, we thought there might be an upset somewhere on the baseball side, but felt pretty confident these were the four that were still going to be standing in the after the first round after the playing game. It could be, but I still think Brentwood's a very heavy favorite. I mean, nobody's given us any evidence that they're not.
Coach Buchanan, as you mentioned, former coach at Dixon County, taking on Dixon with Independence. Jalen Chesson on fire right now. Lady Eagles, man. This is going to be fun to see how this thing finishes out. It's at Centennial. Interesting note, Dixon, Indy, over the season, Indy beat them 7-6. So this is this could be a really good matchup. And on the loser bracket side, these are elimination games, Tate. Summit is going to be playing Franklin, and then Spring Hill will be playing Ravenwood. Dare to cast your magic ball on that?
Well, I haven't been doing too well, but I'll go Summit and Ravenwood.
I have to agree with you on that. If Ravenwood advances, they'll catch the loser of the Brentwood Page game, and then obviously the Summit Franklin will get the loser of the Dixon Indy game there for, once again, to face elimination. You still got to win. If Brentwood, if the seeds hold true, Brentwood's got to win 3 games, or potentially 4 if they lose one of the championship matches, because obviously who comes out of the loser bracket has to win twice in that championship game.
I don't think Brentwood loses.
You think they roll out 3 straight wins against ball games?
Yes.
So who's going to be joining them in the region?
That's tough, man.
Because you got to look.
I can see any one of those other 3.
Next round, if Indy was to win, you got Brentwood, Indy, and then Indy's going to have to come out of the loser bracket.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Indy, but it'll be Brentwood versus either Indy or Page. Now I say that, and then Dixon will come through. But that's tough, man. You might not be, but yeah. I'm going to go with Brentwood, Indy. Has it, you're talking about Hannah Koenig. Has anybody been more dominant this year in their individual sport than her?
She's checking the record books, okay? So she has the single game strikeout record at 16. She is also checking record books on the career. She has surpassed 1,000 strikeouts for her career at Brentwood. Of course, we don't know that record yet. I would like to know the Williamson County Sports Conference record on that. That may be standing there too. Such a fine, high character kid too. Going to La Tech, man, which is Raging Cajuns down in Louisiana, which is an interesting. I don't know anything about Conference USA softball, but they're getting a good one.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, good for her.
WILLCO finalist.
Not done yet either.
She is not finished by any stretch of imagination. I'm going to tell you, once again, I got to go back and check. Maybe you know. Does Brentwood have a shot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
That would be, how big would that be?
Huge.
All right, 2018 boys soccer District 11 AAA soccer matchups right now. Ravenwood, number 3 seed, playing number 6 Summit. Independence, number 4 seed, playing Centennial, number 5. Brentwood is the 2 seed. They're awaiting in the wings of the Ravenwood Summit winner, and Franklin is the overall number 1 seed, waiting the 4-5 game. What do you think there? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think Franklin, kind of like Brentwood is in softball, I think Franklin is the clear number 1. Obviously, Brentwood's a number 2, but anytime you get Ravenwood and Brentwood together, you never know. So I would think that number 1, that Franklin is in the championship game. Who does it come down to, Brentwood or I think Ravenwood will get Summit, And in that Ravenwood-Brentwood game, you just never know. I mean, it's happened too many times. Usually you think history says Franklin-Brentwood, right? But it just seems too often, more often than not, the past few years that Ravenwood's been getting the best of Brentwood.
When on 11 AA Fairview, the Yellow Jackets predominantly have always run that conference, that district over there. They're awaiting the winner of the Montgomery Central Kenwood winner. Page defeated Spring Hill 1-0. They will face Tullahoma in round 2 of the tournament.
I feel very confident both Fairview and Page win.
You think well, that's good. There's your snapshot of men's soccer by Tate Mathews, a resident soccer specialist. All right, last but not least, spring football. Nolensville, you saw this with your own 2 eyes. You were there versus the Wing T of Hendersonville. So let's just throw this out there. You cannot duplicate that in practice. So you obviously know going into this game without any real prep, there could be some struggles there. But Nolensville Knights, the one's on offense, one's on defense. They did give up 2 scores, but there were some very, very promising things coming out of this.
I thought so. Coach Hatfield, the former Hendersonville coach who's now at Tennessee Tech, he thought so too, So he was there. But first of all, one, you can't duplicate that offense when it's really hard. Second of all, I don't think they see that offense. And if they do, it's not till later on in the season. So my guess is they probably didn't even really work on it.
Coach Paul Derrick told me they look pretty good. They look like mid-season as far as their efficiency on that team.
Well, it's a different head coach, but the guy who's been there, played there, went to college, came back, and has been there. So, yeah, but I don't even think they even prepared for it. I think they lined up. They wanted to see who's going to compete, who can make some plays. And defensively, I thought they did really well. It was very obvious that when Hendersonville came out, they had about 80 kids warm up. No, seriously. So the numbers game, they had more numbers. Obviously, they're a bigger school, but it was, in my opinion, the ones. I thought the ones looked really, really good. One-on-one, Nolensville really competed. 2s and 3s are a little bit behind, but, again, you got a school that doesn't have – it's going to be their first year seniors, and this is where depth is going to start coming in as they climb classifications.
What about Brandon Wharton, quarterback for Nolensville?
Looked really good. He did a really good job of – they hurt Hendersonville on the RPOs, and that's going to be a big part of their offense, and he did a really good job of reading it and executing it. So, man, he's – big kid. I think he's gotten taller, bigger. He's good looking and he can run. So, yeah, I thought he played really well.
Still awaiting that first offer. I'm going to tell you, it's going to come. Domino's going to fall. It's going to be interesting to watch how that plays out.
All good, man. It was. It doesn't matter when it comes.
So,
when it comes.
Mr. Producer, I'm sure we have a few mess ups. What do we have today?
All right, guys, just two quick little things here. Bryson Sweeney, Centennial over Independence's baseball game, threw a 3-hitter. Thought that was pretty cool. And then that Page Summit softball game was a marathon, 3-hour and 10-minute game, 9-8 victory in extra innings. So both teams played their heart out in that one.
There you go, extra innings. Well, we're going into extra innings here. WILLCOs next week, full report on that. Go vote, WCS on Twitter feed, between the return, the catch, and the wheel, not to be confused with the call. Thanks for joining us on WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.
In late 2010, I entered a BMX dirt jumping contest and took a hard slam. And I'd done the trick 1,000 times. I suffered a traumatic brain injury. Now, I'm not telling you not to send it, not to go out there and get it done. But what I am saying is learn about brain injury and how to prevent it. Our sport is cool enough. You can wear a helmet. It's your brain. It's your future. You should know what's up.